So tornado watch. What about Chattanooga, Tennessee? Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Seidel.
Hey, Chris, yes, we've just been issued a tornado watch for this area from the Storm Prediction Center. It includes a small section of northeast Alabama, eastern Tennessee, Chattanooga, Crossville, Knoxville, the I-75 corridor, banks up against the Smoky Mountains, and then extreme northwest Georgia. That's down towards Ringgold. So if you're coming up 75 through Atlanta, you're going to run into the cold front. Let's go to the radar and show you the storms now north and west of us. The front has just gone through Huntsville. The winds have shifted to the north and northwest, gusting about 30. Same thing in Nashville. Get this, in Nashville, it's dropped from the low 70s to the low 50s. This is quite a front. By the weekend, we're going to see temperatures in this area down around freezing, not far from record lows. But in the short term, our concern is the storm, this broken line of storms coming through here between about 6:30 and 7:30 with the front, just ahead of the front. And what that will do will create the potential for some isolated damaging wind gust, maybe some hail. We cannot rule out a tornado. The Torcon is 3. Right now, though, the winds here are south. If the winds were more southeast and backed around, we'd have more spin. But right now, the tornado threat is low, although there is that tornado watch for that area until 10. More concerned about the straight line wind damage, which could take out some power outages. Temperatures right now, 81 with a dew point in the mid-60s, so it's a little close out here, Jackie. Feeling a little bit more like summer than early April. And as we go through the next couple of hours, Chris, we'll see what we end up with here. The atmosphere not as unstable here as it is south of Atlanta and south of I-20. So, Jackie, we'll throw it back to you, and we'll keep an eye on the radar and watch the storms come across the Tennessee River here in the next 2 to 3 hours. Jackie?
Yeah, they're coming in from your west, Mike. That is for sure.
Good afternoon from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel. We're on the banks of the Tennessee River watching a cold front to our west and the potential for severe weather. We're under a tornado watch in parts of 4 states. Mostly of that watch is in eastern Tennessee. You can see that Chattanooga, Knoxville, the I-75 corridor. We're watching this line of storms. It's a broken line of storms. It's along and ahead of the cold front, and this cold front is really knocking temperatures back, and it's the leading edge of a big change for many of us in the eastern part of the country going into the weekend. Right now, no current warnings, severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings, but we could see some action here in the next hour and a half to 2 hours. The biggest risk is an isolated damaging wind gust, but we can't completely rule out a spin up or two and some hail. So, Chris, instability rather limited here compared to South Carolina and Georgia right now, where the tornado watches continue. We have a warning in South Carolina and a couple in Florida that you want to get us updated on.
Well, that's exactly right. Meteorologist Mike Seidel, back to you in a moment.
Chattanooga, that's where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel. Mike, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. It was sunny and hot, and just an hour or so ago, man, we're getting creamed here with lightning and heavy rainfall. What are the skies looking like there, and how are things changing?
Yeah, very threatening here. The wind is backed off a little bit. We're still kind of sticky, 80 with a dew point in the mid-60s. And there's the sky, Rodney Hall panning across the Tennessee River here in downtown Chattanooga. This is a severe thunderstorm coming our way. It's moving east at about 40 miles an hour. We're now under a warning from Chattanooga west and east of us. That goes until 6:45. We're concerned about damaging wind gusts, 60 miles an hour plus, and maybe half-dollar-sized hail. We are in a tornado watch, but we don't have a lot of low-level wind shear. The winds have backed around a little bit to the south-southeast at the airport as of 6 o'clock, but the big concern here, straight-line wind damage. The storm's going to come right at us, and we're going to get a lot of heavy rain and gusty winds and the lightning. It's not going to last very long. You can see it's not a very wide line. As it comes through, the wind will shift to the northwest and the temperatures will plummet. We've seen temperatures behind the front in Nashville go from the low 70s to the mid 50s, and we're at 80, 81. We'll drop down about 20 degrees in an hour or so, and this sets the stage for what's going to be a very cold weekend. In fact, we're forecasting a low in Chattanooga of 33. The record is 28. That's Sunday morning. So just be aware of what's on the way. We're going to take a bit of a break from springtime weather and stabilize the atmosphere. That'll take care of the severe threat for a while until the early part of next week. So we'll keep an eye on the skies. Jackie and Chris, They look pretty ominous over those ridges and mountains here in Chattanooga behind me and behind the river, and it's all coming our way, and we'll show it to you live. We've got our safe place back here, so we've got a place to take shelter from the lightning and any kind of other issues we deal with this storm heading our way.
Yeah, Mike, we are seeing quite a bit of lightning being detected with those cells.
Good evening from Chattanooga, Tennessee. The cold front bearing down on this southeastern Tennessee city. We're on the Tennessee River, and here comes the rain and winds. We could gust over 50 miles an hour. We'll see what we got here. I mean, it just hit about 25, 30 seconds ago. Now I can feel that temperature dropping. We were at 81 degrees, and it was kind of muggy. Felt more like, say, mid to late May than early April. Now the rain is coming at us. But look on the radar. This is not a long duration event. We do have the severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45 Eastern, 5:45 Central. As these storms roll on through, as you're seeing, we're getting the heavy rain and the gusty winds. But so far, looking at the trees, I'm thinking we're gusting maybe 30 miles an hour. The rain is fairly heavy. We'll see it hitting as sheets out here in the parking lot. But the winds so far have behaved themselves. I'm watching the flag. I don't know, Rodney, can you show the flags up here on this pole? I don't know if you're blocked from those, but you can see the flag up here. And they're now, instead of a south wind, they're coming around more to the west and northwest, and that's going to blow in the cold air. Hey, by the weekend, we're going to be down around freezing here on Sunday morning. That's only 5 degrees above the record low temperature. Back here, though, we are under a tornado watch from here all the way to the Smoky Mountains, a little small corner of southwest North Carolina, northwestern Alabama, northeast Alabama, rather, northwest Georgia. So it's the I-75 corridor. This line comes on through, and that will take care of the severe threat for a while until at least probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. This cold air comes in, shuts down the Gulf of Mexico, and we all get a break, especially the deep south, where we've had weeks and weeks of severe weather. It seems like every Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday, Chris, we go through this. Fortunately here, I'm already seeing the skies brighten a little bit to the west and north. So as you saw on the radar, this is not a very long duration event, but the temperatures certainly have fallen from the low 80s back into, I'd say, at least the mid to the upper 60s with the wind and rain. Now the wind begins to back off, and basically you caught most of the show with a storm here in this live shot. Chris?
All right, that's our meteorologist, Mike Seidel, for you, timing it just right.
We go north to you, where you've just gone through the cold front. We had that severe line of storms come through. It was very brief. How have things changed? And this is the cold air now. Have you noticed a drop in the temperature, and what can folks in Georgia expect?
Oh, indeed. The temperature has gone from 81 down to 69 with the front. We showed it to you on the air live. It hit us right at the 6:20 Eastern live shot, and it lasted about the length of the live shot. It was, the heavier rain was over in 4 or 5 minutes. By the time I finished, the sun was peeking out over the river. This is the Tennessee River, which rolls and curves and snakes through Chattanooga. Hey, if you ever get a chance to come here, lots to do, including the world-famous aquarium. There are the hills, ridges. We're looking west. There's the sun behind the clouds. But we are done. We are done with the rain. We're done with the severe weather here. Everything has moved east. We're in the stable air. The temperature's gone into the upper 60s. By the way, the peak gust at the airport was 34 miles an hour. We've been very fortunate so far, at least at the airports. We've had little, if any, winds. I mean, nothing over 40 I've seen. And the rainfall amounts, just like in Nashville here, we had about 1/4 of an inch of rain. So a quick hitting rain shower. We had about 4 or 5 bolts of lightning. Now the temperature slowly cooled down. It's not going to be in the 30s tomorrow morning, but boy, by Saturday and certainly Sunday morning here, we could be down around freezing, which is only about 5 degrees above the record for the 10th of April.
Hey, Mike, I heard you had a rainbow at the end of all of it. Didn't that happen to you last week? How'd you get so lucky?
Because I brought my pot with me. I mean, not that kind of pot, my pot of gold. My pot of gold. I knew
that's what you meant. Thank goodness. Thank you for clarifying for some of our viewers who are thinking other things.
Yeah, last week we had the rainbow coming. Yeah, we had the rainbow coming out of the tree. And this week we had almost a double rainbow. We put it on video and sent it back to work, and our editor is busy turning that. But we'll show it to you. I'll get it on social media. But yes, a full rainbow, heavy rain. We knew we were going to have it. Heavy rain and the sun coming out behind me. So yes, 2 weeks in a row we get the rainbow following the severe storms. Fortunately,
you are the
this
lucky
week,
one for sure.
Nothing like last week in Jackson.
Thank goodness. All right, Mike. Thanks so